rephrase the question, okay? Let's talk about leadership a little bit. I'm big on leadership. I love leadership. There's so much out there on leadership. This is some of the stuff you've probably heard before. It's good to hear from a different mouth, from a different perspective. Sometimes it takes you 5, 6 times to hear something to actually get it, or in 5 to 6 different ways to actually resonate with you. I'm just going to talk about 3 leadership styles or things about leadership that I like, okay? One of them is leading by example, leading by action. This is probably the most clear form of leadership because you watch someone do it and then you can follow in their footsteps. This is the main way I led on the rugby team, is because I would never ask someone to do that if I didn't already do that. That's why when I was working in a restaurant, I worked my way up. I was a busser in high school. I was a busser. I did room service for a hotel. Then I became a server, lunch server, then a dinner server, then a bartender. And then they asked me to be a manager, and I was like, hell, I want to babysit. But now the restaurant I used to work at, the owner, it's a small family business, he's an entrepreneur, he started as a busser. So anything that, when he tells his buzzer, can you go please clean that table? He knows what it's like. It's empathy, okay? That's huge. So leading by example is one of my favorite ways to lead. You just go out and do things, and then next time you want to lead and tell people what to do, you can say, I've already done this. This is the way I did it. This is the way you could try it. This is the blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's really important. There's a book, The Military. The military view this, and they call it leading from the front. Okay? There's a book, I think, called Leading from the Front. You're a wartime general. You lead from the front. You are in front of your entire pack. So every single person that's scared, everyone that doesn't want to do it, everyone that's whatever it is, you're asking them to do something that you were doing yourself. That you can't refute that. You can't. That's just amazing. Okay, that's a really, really good way to lead. Okay, lead from the front. Don't lead from the back. I mean, imagine a boss sitting in the back saying, "Yeah, you guys go do this, you guys go do that," and going back to whatever he or she is doing. Then you're doing it for the wrong reason. There's no heart in that. Number 2 is lead by listening. Nelson Mandela, you guys know Nelson Mandela, right? His father, now don't quote me on this, I heard this and I'm paraphrasing. His father was a chief in a tribe, okay? And young boy Nelson was an unbelievable leader, and he led by listening. But he remembers vividly going to these council tribal meetings with his dad, and his dad being the chief. And an interviewer asked him, what's one of the things that you remember most? He said, the one thing that stands out almost more than anything is that my father always spoke last. That's huge. Now, it's kind of counterintuitive, because if you're a leader and you have to lead something, you have to talk first. You have to speak first. You have to organize this and that. You have to say, please do this. This is what we're going to do today, blah, blah, blah. But that should be it. Let your group, let your members speak their mind. Let them talk about what you want to do. One of my favorite authors, another one called, his name is Simon Sinek, and we'll get to him in a little bit. He talks about the most important thing in an organization is that making your members, your employees, your group members, your teammates feeling comfortable, feel in a safe environment so they can be themselves. There's something called groupthink. Does anyone know what groupthink is? Yes, you guys know what groupthink is? For those of you who don't, groupthink is poison in an organization. So if I said something like, how many of you guys think that that painting is attractive or something like that? And there are some of you that think it's hideous, but you guys don't really want to raise your hand. That you don't want to participate because you're like, well, I'm not going to be doing one of this. The moment someone says, oh, I think it's really attractive, and you're like, what the hell? And someone else is like, oh, I think it's really attractive, and everyone's like, yeah, that's a really good painting, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually you're like, yeah, that's a really good looking painting. That's groupthink. You're letting everyone else influence your decisions. We don't want that. You want to create a safe environment for people to think the way they actually think. That is how you get progress, effective, efficiency, all that good stuff. Okay. When you listen, ask questions. Ask your group members questions. As a leader, when I'm at the restaurant, if I'm seeing a server drama-filled, upset her boyfriend broke up with her, or pissed they got a table, that whatever, and they're upset in a bad situation, I ask questions. All I do all day long is ask questions. Otherwise, you're not going to tell me. And if you're going to tell me, you're not going to tell me straight, because you want to make me happy, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, I don't want to be happy. I'll be happy when you're happy. What's the problem? What is it? What can I help you with? What can I do to make whatever you're going through better? Ask questions, because that's the way you're going to learn. I think that the ladies were hitting on this earlier. Yeah, I think they were talking about getting to know your members, right? Getting to know them. And I think you guys were doing it in groups and stuff like that. I was away for a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I heard, get to know the people in your group. That's the way you guys can actually build friendships. That's the way you can actually make movement as a group. Very, very important. Ask questions, create a safe environment for people. Okay, no one's gonna look stupid, no one's gonna look dumb. That's so important, guys. I know it sounds so silly, but you'd be surprised how many people are quiet because of the judgment of others. It's really sad, because they are gold, but they're quiet. So you need a good leader with empathy or empowerment to bring it out of them, which leads me to empowerment. This is probably one of my favorite ways to lead. Lead by action and lead by empowering others. So, a boss versus a leader, two totally different things. A boss tells you, go put that thing away over there, or hey, you're gonna be in charge of this, okay, great, and you're gonna be in charge of that. Or, you would be really good at this, that's why I'd like you to be in charge of that. That's a huge difference. But empowering is giving responsibility and giving power. The very counterintuitive, the magic of power is that the more you give, the more you receive. Just like love, just like a whole lot of things. Trust, when you give power to somebody, you don't lose power. It actually solidifies your power. I want you to think of power like a bank, okay? You are a bank of power. The way a bank has money, and I'm an individual and I go and I withdraw $1 million. I'm rich, I have money, I have power. But who actually has the money and the power? The bank, because they gave it to me. I want you to think of power like an iPhone charger. You might think your iPhone has all the power because it's a smartphone. You can text, you can do this, you can do all these amazing things with this powerful device. But it needs to go get charged from the actual person, the actual charger with power. That's the actual power. So when you empower your group members as a leader, and I'm assuming, I know all of you are leaders. I don't know if you guys are in leadership positions. I'm sure you are if you're here. And even if you're not, you should be because you're here. That's step one, leading by action. But I want you to understand one thing. When you're in a group, and the quietest person right there, you'd be very surprised how much power he or she has. Because if someone else, if that quiet person just, if it says someone to something, if she says or he says someone to something like, hey, I really think you can do this, or I really think you should do this. You know how much power she just gave another individual? It's not about the person who talks the most as the biggest leader. It's not about that. You guys all have to elicit, you have to extract power from other people. You have to allow them to lead. The best leaders make other leaders. I'm pounding this point because it's so important. It's not about ego. This is the main thing I learned from my Buddhist monk. It's not about ego. It's about your role. You're good at this. You want this. This is what you should do. Now, you can be a facilitator, and you could be a manager. Michael Jordan, he was the MVP. But he was the leader, he's led by action. But Phil Jackson, the coach, he was the actual leader. He was the one that people went to. He was the one that empowered Michael to empower Steve Kerr and to empower Scottie Pippen, all to become the best version of themselves. That's your job as a leader, okay? It's not about the name president. It's not about, oh, I can put this on my resume. Find out what your purpose is for joining this group, for joining your sorority or your fraternity. Find out that purpose and make sure it's not a result. When I ask my entrepreneurs, what is the purpose of you starting this company? And they tell me, I want to make money. I say, get the hell up out of here. Because that's a result. Getting rich is a result, not the purpose. Does that make sense? That's a byproduct. So you tell me, what is, and this is a rhetorical question, what is the purpose that you wrote this down? Why I'm here. What is the purpose you're here? That way you can start telling other people, this is why I'm here. Why are you? And you will start rubbing off on people in a really good way. If you're joining these groups and you're doing these leadership retreats just to put it on a resume, I feel bad for you. Because that is a result. All the achievements, all that good stuff. Like when I wanted to do the Food Network, when I wanted my own TV show, I told them, and when they interview me, when I make it to this round, they're going to say, why do you want to do it? I'm going to be as authentic as possible. This is why I want to do it. I used to want the fame, and I used to want the attention and all this, and yeah, that's all great. That will come. I can win, Rookie Host of the Year at the TV awards, but that'll come if I genuinely am interested and curious in trying these foods and going around and meeting people that love what they do. Going around and meeting chefs that create these unbelievable dishes from their heart. I want to meet people like that. I want to interview people like that. That is huge. And you show me a curious member, and I'll show you a person that has value. You want something just for the XYZ, the results, you're driving backwards, okay? So that's that. I have to beat that point in. There are some natural leaders here. I saw it when you guys, some people, whether you were a smarty or not, some people are just natural born leaders, but everyone has leadership. Some people are quiet leaders. Like some of the chief, he was the biggest leader of them all. He didn't say anything. He waited to the end. He was quiet. So bring the leadership out of all of your members. Every single member, I don't care if they're a freshman, sophomore, it doesn't matter. Everyone's a leader. Just bring it out of them. That's very, very important. That is your job as a leader. Okay. So this is huge. So that was kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. But I hope like some of this stuck with you guys. Some of it resonated, okay? And I know I beat my points to a blank ball, I'm sorry. But then I got these. And these are cool, okay? Because this is the gold right here. This is what you guys want. I'm pretty sure so what is this? You guys wrote these, right? What were you asked when you put these on the card? What were you asked?
The goal of today.
The goal of today? So like your goal of today, what you want out of today. So I read all of these. Very interesting, because more than half of them were the exact same. And it was literally to meet other people and learn about other Greek life and learn how to network and learn how to take some leadership skills and this and that. Very, very interesting. But some of them are very specific. I'm just going to read a couple of these and I'm going to try to answer them really quickly. So some of these might sound like yours because they will be. And I just like to give practical information because if my entrepreneurs started doing this, that would be unbelievable. Or my future interns or future hires, what do you want? I can just read it oh, this is what you want? Great, I'll put this here. I'm going to have you do this. Great. So taking ways to be a better sister to my organization. Okay. Some of them are very broad. Okay, here's the answer. Be a nice person. Okay? More leadership roles and service, more service ideas. Great. Brainstorm the hell out of service ideas. And this isn't just you and your sorority sisters. This is you and everyone.